It's the Pete Sousa Show. Sports, Pete.
Nobody tells our stories better than our clients.
The difference is stark. I was rear-ended at a stop. I thought I was fine, and then once I got home, I realized it's a lot worse than I thought. I ended up having a ruptured disc. You say you're not hurting, and then an hour later, you're saying you're in all this pain. I just felt like most people would think that I was lying. And that's when I decided to call Daniel Stark. I owe a lot to Daniel Stark. They really got me what I deserved.
The difference is stark.
Just use AMP-Pace.
AMP-Pace.
With Ease US, make studio quality voiceovers for your videos online in over 149 languages and dialects, featuring 468 natural AI voices. Customize the volume, mood, and pauses to perfectly match your content. Plus, capture high quality videos with no watermark. Record your screen, webcam, and voice, and save them instantly to your computer. Never been easier to create professional grade videos and voiceovers. Try it today at easeus.com. That's EASEUS.com. Ease US. Since our founding, we've been revolutionizing hair removal with cutting-edge technology and a commitment to empowerment. The U-Like Air 3, launched in 2023, ushers in a new era of sapphire ice cooling technology, offering nearly painless hair reduction in just 3 weeks. Experience the future of hair removal today at ulike.com, because at U-Like, beauty is about looking and feeling good. That's ULIKE.com. U-Like.
Hi, I'm Mitch, the co-founder of Cake, a sexual health and wellness company designed for today and designed for you. Yes, you. The entire product line can be found at hellocake.com, and it's also available in every Walmart near you.
Send money abroad in just a few steps with Remitly. Sign up with your email, enter an amount, choose how your loved ones receive the money, enter your recipient's information, select a payment method, hit send, and relax. Download the Remitly app today.
Looking for tickets to the hottest shows, games, and events? Ticket Liquidator is your one-stop shop for great prices, no hassles, and guaranteed tickets. Whether it's sports, theater, or concert, for the best seats at the biggest events, start with Ticket Liquidator today at ticketliquidator.com. Ticket Liquidator.
Tervis is all about staying hydrated. Each product is built to last and comes in endless designs to match your personality. Stay refreshed and express yourself with Tervis. Visit tervis.com today and find your perfect tumbler.
Hey, it's the Pete Sousa Show. What's happening, everybody? How we doing? It's Tuesday. It's Cam Stewart in Boston. It's Chris Visser in Orlando. Chris is I heard he's down there getting ready to out that court see at the Big 12 tournament. Chris had some battles at the Boston Garden when he was playing in high school in Western Massachusetts. So they figure if he could handle the dead spots on the floor at the Boston Garden, he can certainly handle a review of the Big 12's new floor, where they have all those LED lights and stuff. They actually are. We talked about that last week. Brett Yormark told us they are going to have teams get the opportunity to test that floor out if you UCF in Orlando or when you arrive to the Big 12 tournament in Kansas City. Either way, you have arrived at the Pete Sousa Show presented by Slovacek's. Brent Bloom coming up here in probably about 5-6 minutes. So we'll just keep here until he joins us. We're going to review Iowa State's just an amazing win at home against Houston. I'm calling the game Oklahoma State tomorrow night with Matt Muehlbach, dude who played at Arizona, and he's dialed into the Big 12. And he said, "Who do you have tonight before the game?" And I said, "I'm taking Iowa State simply because it's at Hilton Coliseum." And they haven't had, you talk about Kansas, and Fran Fraschilla does a great job when he calls, Allen Fieldhouse like St. Patrick's Cathedral for college basketball. And Hilton Coliseum is a close second. And the thirst for victory there is almost, they just want their thirst quenched a little bit more than Kansas fans. As nice as people are in Ames, if you've been there, you know what I'm talking about. They have teeth, man. And the crowd last night, you could feel it late in the game, culminating with the huge three from Nate Heisey, whose sister Taylor also had a huge day, scoring a goal for the women's Olympic hockey team. So mom and dad, Mr. and Mrs. Heisey, not a bad night at all. And I wonder if do you just like slow down and just like grab your wife, or I'm assuming these two people are alive and together because I haven't seen anything about that. So forgive me if I'm wrong. But do you just grab your wife or you grab your husband and you're like, I can't believe this. Like, you got to take a moment to be like, holy mackerel. When across the country, people have kids that are in and out of trouble or can't stay, out of detention or out of jail or who knows, right? Out of rehab. Like, this is a reality in America and in the world today. Missteps by young people. And I'm not saying these Heisey kids are perfect, but yesterday they were. And that's a cool day for the Heisey family. Real cool day for TJ Otzelberger. Not a good day for BYU. We are presented by Slovakics. Also, Daniel Stark Injury Lawyers, Socorro Family Ford, First National Bank of Central Texas, Crawford Austin Properties, and many more. We have a read. We're going to start tomorrow with a live read with the new sponsor. Cameron and I both got the copy yesterday. So once I go over that with a fine-tooth comb and figure out where exactly I need to accentuate certain words and stuff, we'll be bringing that to you. All I got to say is bring your best golf clubs. Okay? That's what I'll say. But not a good day for BYU yesterday. I want to start here. We'll stick with the Big 12 theme. Richie Saunders out for the year. That was announced late Sunday night. There was so much going on with Jerome Tang. We didn't get a chance to talk about this yesterday. It is a seismic shift to the top of the Big 12 as far as 12 title is concerned, and I think as far as a deep run into the NCAA tournament for BYU. Richie Saunders was a part, they had a big three at BYU, and AJ DiBonsa, Rob Wright, and Richie Saunders. Richie Saunders, for all the things that he is so prolific at that we talk about, right? Scoring, passing, he has 2 steals a game. He is also the tater tot king. His grandfather invented tater tots. There were so many good vibes around Richie Saunders and him being a part of things at BYU, even as when you think about Kevin Young arrives on campus in Provo to take that job. And one of the first things he does is he looks at Richie Saunders in the eyes and he says, you can be an NBA player. And clearly, Richie Saunders was the kind of guy who needed someone to believe in him like that, because since Kevin Young has said that to him, he has played like a first-round pick. Getting injured Saturday night, Kevin Young simply said it, and I got the quote here, right? Everybody was there so excited to hang Jimmer Fredette's jersey from the rafters, right? And Kevin Young said this post-game: it sucked the life out of the gym. He's the heart and soul of our team. Guys have to come off the bench now and be ready to go. BYU's bench, their performance and their contributions are in the bottom of the NCAA. I think it's ranked like 340, okay? They've had now 3 season-ending injuries to, let's say their top 9 or 10 best players. You could probably even say 8 or 9. So everything changes for BYU now. And a team that we saw play into the Sweet 16 last year and was sort of the darling of the NCAA tournament and, the new kid on the block in the Big 12. Now you really need to see what Rob Wright, A.J. DeBonsa can do for you. And last week you saw it at Baylor. Rob Wright had 36 points. A.J. DeBonsa had 30 points. These guys are playing, 40 minutes a clip already with no one coming off the bench that's been able to add viable contributions. So this injury crushes BYU, in my opinion. We'll see tomorrow night. I'm fortunate enough, I'll be at Kansas on the call for at Oklahoma State for Kansas, Oklahoma State. But the game preceding us is BYU, Arizona at McHale Center. And I'll be keeping a close eye on that one because not only I think is it going to be really cool, hopefully it's cool for BYU fans and for the health of the Big 12. You want to see the young guys respond, DeBonsa and Rob Wright, but you also just want to see how the team plays without Richie Saunders, right? I'm not saying that it's the death nail, but I think it's a huge blow, like I just mentioned moments ago. One more thing statistically, and I wrote this down, I saw it. A.J. DeBonsa's usage rate with Richie Saunders on the court, that's 30%. Without him, his usage rate bumps up to 40%. And also, too, the dude's already at the top of the scouting report. It just makes things more difficult on a freshman. And this is last night when we get the opportunity to watch a guy like Kingston Flemings for Houston. He is so special. And June 24th, he's going to make so much money in the NBA. And a guy like that is able to flourish because of the infrastructure, the coaching, but also the players around him at Houston. The walls now are kind of closing in on A.J. DeBonsa, and it's not to say that he's not going to be a prolific pro or to take anything away from what he's done already, but the job just gets more difficult for him now. In a Big 12 that, watching Lenardi last night, talked to Scott Van Pelt after the game, they're talking 5 teams that could be top 3 seeds out of the Big 12, and as many as 9 that could possibly get in. I think no time like the present to bring in Brent Bloom, who I've been checking this guy out, listening to him and watching him for years now. Him and my man Chris Williams always bring the fire. And Brent, man, thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate it. Especially, I know you had a late night. I was checking you out on Twitter. You were like, you know what? I'm just going to stay up and enjoy this one and just comb the timeline.
Not a lot of great days on the app these days, but that was one of them, Pete. So, no, I appreciate you having me on, man, and always fun when you're in Hilton Coliseum as well.
Dude, and Hilton Coliseum didn't need me last night. It was rocking. And I thought that the tidal wave that is the Hilton Coliseum fan base and Hilton Magic crashed into Houston late. It was a game where it felt like they had Iowa State at arm's length. But then do you really have Iowa State at arm's length at Hilton Coliseum? And then they made that furious comeback. What did you take away from that comeback that maybe was remarkable to you as far as Iowa State goes? Something new you noticed?
Yeah, I mean, great point. I thought, Houston gets up 10, and Flemings was so good last night. I mean, I just listened on the way in. I mean, so much respect for that guy. I mean, what a player he is. And I was like, man, tip your cap to Houston and Kelvin Sampson. Iowa State looked finished there at about the 7-minute mark, but then you just you hung around, and then those back-to-back threes by Bateman and Heisey, those are all-timers. I've been going to Hilton Coliseum for, I'm 41 years old, Pete, so probably 35 years of my memory, and I can't remember bigger back-to-back shots in a moment like that. So, I mean, that's what just Iowa State just gutting it out. It wasn't pretty in the second half at all, but certainly everybody stepped up late. Taman Lipsey doing what Taman does, and it was just it was just an incredible night in Hilton. Like one of the all-timers. I'm telling you, like there are moments as Iowa State fans, we don't get a lot of them, but that's one that everybody will remember forever. I mean, really, it was one of those special nights.
And do you think that's the kind of night, by the way, I love the stormy cyclone, the glow, the cyclone, the glow in Bloom's eyes says it all, baby. Fun day to be a Cyclone.
Yeah, it's either glow or tiredness or a little bit of combo. So I got my coffee though.
How about that win as far as what it does for you and Iowa State basketball going forward? Now we talk about we're a handful of weeks away from Selection Sunday, and how we move forward with, again, the Big 12 being at the forefront of the college basketball universe. What does a signature victory like this do for Iowa State when you bring some context to it and look at years past?
Yeah, I mean, I think, first and foremost is the belief that you can beat a great team like Houston, a team that played in the national championship, and not even play your best in the second half and still figure out how to get it done. But just from a practicality standpoint, Pete, I'm a big bracketology guy. I mean, Iowa State essentially cements itself as certainly a top 2 seed in the NCAA tournament. You're back in the Big 12 championship conversation because the Cyclones have some monster games coming up. Obviously, going to BYU on Saturday, Utah Monday, and you still get Tech, you still get Arizona on the road. So Iowa State's still in the thick of it, and in a large ways, what made last night so important is it makes the next 3 weeks super fun because Iowa State hasn't won a conference championship since 2001 under Larry Eustachy, and this team has a long ways to go. Listen, the league is loaded. We all know this, but it just is going to make the next 3 weeks of the Big 12 super interesting for Iowa State fans, maybe as fun as it's ever been. And then secondly, you are now in the 1 seed conversation again. And again, I remind Iowa State fans know this, but for the nation, Iowa State has never been a number 1 seed. And so they've been a number 2 seed a couple of times. But it's one of those rarefied deals where it's like, man, it would be really cool in our lifetime if Iowa State could be a 1 seed. And a win like that, if you lose to Houston, sure, not a huge setback because Houston's great, but now it keeps the hope alive for Iowa State to enter the conference championship chase and potentially play for a 1 seed. And we all know what that means for March Madness from there.
You and I are sort of similar age-wise. I'm a little older than you, but I certainly remember the Larry Eustachy, Marcus Fizer team. I think they were a 2 seed, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. Was that the apex of Iowa State college basketball in our lifetime? When you, again, provide some context for fans watching all over the country to understand Iowa State basketball?
Yeah, if you talk to Iowa State fans, probably the best team in Iowa State history is that 99-2000 team with Marcus Fizer, Jamal Tinsley, Larry Eustachy. That team made the Elite Eight. Still, they're the 3 officials in Auburn Hills, Michigan, not huge fans of names. A lot of people think that Iowa State should have beat Michigan State that day. Larry Eustachy got escorted out of the building, if you remember correctly. And then the next year they won the Big 12 again, but that's right.
Yeah, okay.
That's what that same year they won it. So Iowa State was up 10 in the second half in that game. Long story. I think I was 14 at the time, Pete, and broke a remote control. So didn't love that moment too much. But yeah, that between that one and then a lot of Fred's teams were super fun to watch. They had some high ceilings as well, but didn't guard as well as that Larry team does or this TJ team. So you always wondered if that group had a ceiling. George Niang broke his foot in the opening round of the NCAA tournament in 2015, and that was the team with DeAndre Kane and Monte Morris. And a lot of folks think if George would have stayed healthy, maybe they make a run beyond the Sweet 16 like they did that year. But yeah, this team's right there. I mean, it's right there with that Fizer Tinsley team and the best Fred team. And, because this team is better offensively than TJ's have been in the past, you saw it last night against a great Houston team. And, Iowa State in the first half played great. And you'll have 3 turnovers the entire game against the Houston defense. So this Iowa State team's really good, and I think can beat anybody in the country. We saw that last night, and it gives Iowa State fans a lot of hope that maybe this is the year Iowa State can reach the Final Four for the first time since the 40s.
Who has stepped up for Iowa State? Because I had the opportunity to call one of the first games or one of the earliest games of the season for you guys at South Dakota when you just took Mississippi State to the woodshed. And it was very clear then to me, even though Mississippi State has struggled this year, that the perimeter defense of Iowa State was prolific and maybe the best in the country. We saw it on Saturday with Kansas, especially. Kansas could not handle that pressure. And we saw it last night when you guys needed to get stops. When we talk about going forward, and I was just talking about Richie Saunders, right? Like the big 3 for BYU is now decimated. It's just 2 with Saunders out. Who has been the third guy outside of Lipsey and Jefferson that has stepped up this year with consistency and that you expect? And Momcilovic too. So outside of those 3, who's the 4th guy that has stepped up this year with consistency that you think can be essential to a deep run in March?
Well, I think that's what makes this team really good is it's been a cast of characters at that quote unquote fourth spot. I mean, the big three are as good as anybody in the country, and the way Momcilovic is shooting the ball, he takes so much attention that it's like I'm not a big space guy, but it's like the moon around. There's just constant attraction. That guy opens everything up. But like last night, it was Heisey and Bateman, and they stepped into a role. Buchanan played great in the first half, played great against Kansas, and then Killian Torrey is going to be an NBA player. The way that guy defends, I mean, that's what made Fleming's night last night so incredible. Is Torrey was all over that guy, and Fleming's was still making tough shots, but. All those guys, and even Dom Plata, the freshman from Germany, is started to get a lot better, where he's now providing legit bench rotation. And so Iowa State's I think Iowa State's 8 is as good as anybody's in the country. Now, they're not deep beyond that 8, but it seems like there's that four spot after the big three. It's one of those 4 guys, and Jamarian Bateman's ascension here in the last 3 weeks is so fun to watch. He's such a neat kid. Fran Fraschilla, it seems like, mentions it every time. It's a bingo card for Iowa State that he was the valedictorian at his high school. But when he came in, I mean, there's nobody that works harder than that kid. And it's fun to see him finally start to show out on national television, because him and Torrey and Plata are who Iowa State's going to build this program around in the future once you do lose those big three. So seeing that kid come up and play well again last night, and that's what makes this Iowa State team really fun, is you don't know who it's going to be, and it's usually somebody else is helping out those other 3 guys.
I'm going to ask you a question as somebody who takes in all this content, or you create a ton of great content, but you watch the games, you hear people calling the games. Fran is a student of this guy, Daniel Steer, this old school ESPN executive who was always like, hey, use your best stuff over and over. Now, as a Cyclone fan, and I do the same thing, as a Cyclone fan, does that drive you crazy when you hear it over and over? Like, because my favorite thing is the Charles Lee story that TJ told us before the first game. That Charles Lee was like, yo, I got a guy for you. And God willing, I get Iowa State again this year. I'll be running that back. But does that drive you guys crazy?
No, I love it. So I haven't done it the level you guys have, but doing some ESPN Plus stuff, like, yeah, use your best stuff, man. Like and then honestly, like, I have to remind myself, I'm watching everything a lot more intently than the casual person is. So for people to hear that story, it's just funny because if you go back to Fran during the Niang era, the fact that he guarded Nerlens Noel every day, like, you heard it all the time. But no, it's great. I love Fran. I think that guy is so good for the Big 12. I am the charter member of the Fran Fraschilla fan club, and what he and Boog do on a Monday night basis, to have those guys there and then lead right into SportsCenter last night, like, it was a tremendous spectacle for Iowa State University. And you just can't say enough, yeah.
Yeah, the conference is kicking ass on that level. And it's so cool to see ESPN and the partnership. Like, TJ goes on there. And you forget, again, you guys know, but even for people like me who follow the program so closely, Coach Otzelberger saying, hey, I was on the staff with so many of these great coaches, and he just understands the atmosphere. How significant is having a guy like that as the steward of your program? Because I don't know that people understand how much his players love him. The guy is not only an X's and O's guy, a guru, but, he made his bones as the dude who could get just about anybody to campus and want to play for Iowa State or for wherever he was, for that matter, whether it was a South Dakota or UNLV.
Yeah, dead on. TJ is unbelievable. And so I had a front row seat to a lot of this. So I was doing the content stuff, but the last 3.5 years I ran our collective at Iowa State. So I was part of the recruitment process. And I'll be honest, without TJ, none of those guys are at Iowa State. The guy is relentless. He's an unbelievable recruiter, but he's the same, and you know this, Pete, because you've talked to TJ, he's the same with you or me as he is with anybody else. He's a genuine guy. He really believes in his players, and those guys love him. And it's an amazing story. If you think about the year before TJ got there, Iowa State won 2 games total, and none in the Big 12. And then that was the weird COVID year, like, I get that, but the growth of this program from where it was, I know it was a proud program, but to where it was in the last year of Steve Prohm to now, where you are, what TJ's now beaten 30 top 25 teams in his 5 years at Iowa State. Think about that. That is crazy, the success he's had, but he does an unbelievable job. And again, Iowa State doesn't have the unlimited resources that some of our other folks do in the Big 12, so you really do need, first and foremost, a relationship guy. And he's proven time and time again, there's a reason why Jefferson, Momcilovic, Lipsy, you know as well as I do, Pete, they had huge opportunities to leave Iowa State for way more resources, but they believe in TJ, they believe in each other, and the culture thing is real at Iowa State.
For people who don't know, I got a great TJ story from before this season. I got a chance to go to Media Day for the Big 12, but I was working for NBC, and it was like the first day of school for me. I'm in a room with like people who you and I view as like celebrities, like Jordan Cornette, John Fanta. It's like I'm kind of, those guys were very nice to me, but I felt like I was kind of on the outside. And I'd known TJ a little bit from calling games, just busting my ass, whether it was Plus or calling games on regular ESPN. And he comes in the room and he knows me, and he just puts me in a bear hug. He's like, "Oh, you've been lifting." He was like in one of those good moods, and instantly he broke the ice for me, gave me street cred. And like, that's the kind of guy, I don't know if he could tell that I was nervous or uncomfortable. He probably could. And that was his way of like putting me at ease. You know, like he doesn't have to do that. That's not his job, but that's the type of guy we're talking about. I thanked him for it later this season. And he's just as cool as they come. He's a treasure nationally, but especially in AIM. I want to move forward with this discussion about Iowa State because, you know, we're glazing the hell out of this squad. If there's one, rightfully so, if there's one Achilles heel, like somebody like you that knows the program better than almost anybody, what is it? What's your concern as we head into March?
Yeah, I think you saw a little bit the second half was rebounding and honestly free throw shooting, kind of out of the blue, but this Iowa State team is now 345th in the country in free throw percentage. That's not going to do it. Like when you start getting in late games, and Taman missed another one last night, thankfully he made up for it 5 times with the effort. But, you know, some free throw shooting is going to bite Iowa State. Both Jefferson and Lipsy have really struggled over the last 2 weeks and cost them the TCU game, quite frankly, down in Fort Worth. And then, rebounding. Iowa State's a good rebounding team, but you saw Houston's an elite rebounding team. And once you get with those monsters that are 1 and 2 seeds, you start talking about Arizona and Duke and Illinois. And, I mean, so much length. And again, Blake Buchanan's been great for Iowa State. Jefferson's a really good rebounder. The guards rebound great, but just the size. It's just a size difference. Iowa State's got Buchanan at 6'11", Jefferson at 6'8", and Plata comes in at 6'10", but that's about it. And so that would be the weakness for this team is, you know, some of these teams that can just play volleyball up there, and I am concerned about Arizona in particular with all of their size. Those teams could really give Iowa State some problems. And so you saw it with Houston. Iowa State thankfully shot it well enough and then really, you know, buttoned down in the second half defensively. But free throw shooting and rebounding would be the 2 areas right now where it's like, okay, let's figure it out. And then on the third part there, Pete, when Iowa State has lost games, it's turnover problems too, where Jefferson, love Joshua, sometimes he feels the weight on his shoulders and tries to do too much. And if you look at the 3 losses to Cincinnati, Kansas, and as well as TCU, his turnovers were all over 5 in each game. And that's when you know the ball's sticking and Joshua's kind of have to bail everything out. That's not a good recipe for Iowa State's success.
That's great insight because you look at him as this amazing passer that he's developed into, but sometimes that can also be the gift and the curse because he's got that shot clock grenade now a lot of times where it's like he's got to find somebody or make a decision, and that's a lot, especially in the Big 12. Couple big picture questions for you. Your experience running a collective. I was dying to ask you about this. What was 1 or 2 things that really surprised you about that whole situation? And as you tried to wrap your arms around this crazy universe we're living in now in college sports.
Yeah, I'd say it's messier than people think, but also a lot more fulfilling than people think as well. I mean, it was the most interesting ride of my career because you get to know these players, their parents, and everybody around them, and they're really good people. And it just makes you want to do really well for them. I mean, I've got so many neat stories of, you know, helping out some of these players who didn't have anything. I mean, there was a football player at Iowa State. He was a senior. He was from Florida, and his parents had never seen him play before in person because they couldn't afford it. So the first year of NIL, he got a whopping $2,000. Okay, that was the budget we had at that point. I mean, again, things have escalated really quickly, and that's the second part I'll get into. But $2,000 to a player who eventually played in the NFL, his parents came to watch him on his senior day for the first time in Ames. Like, there are really good things that have happened because of NIL that a lot of people don't realize. Now, the money has gotten completely off the deep end, and it is really hard for the Iowa States of the world to kind of stay competitive here because there's just kind of an unlimited spending, and we got up against a little bit on the football end with dealing with the Penn State and Matt Campbell. Like, that's the worst of it because you don't have unlimited resources, and it just seems like honestly, Pete, it's gone. There are players, I would say the majority of the starters in the Big 12 are making more than the G League players for sure, and a lot of them are getting more than second-round NBA draft picks would. And I just don't know if that's sustainable. And so it just has become an increasingly stressful position for coaches of not only trying to recruit but keep your players every single year. And it got down to the wire for Iowa State. I mean, this team, I've shared this on the podcast before. This current Iowa State team was about 48 hours from not being the same Iowa State team. I mean, it was up against it in a lot of ways, and so that's stressful for coaches because you can plan all you want, and all it takes is one of those big monsters from one of the SEC or Big Ten schools to throw a big bag of cash, and that's exactly what they tried with several Iowa State players, and it got really close to the wire. And so I'm grateful for my time there. I'm glad I'm not in it every day because, man, it's every day you're looking over your shoulder like, what else is going to happen here?
Something, I mean, outside of the pod and what you're doing now, is it something you feel like you maybe want to get back into, or did it move you to maybe think, okay, I would want to be like a general manager, whether it's at the college level or the pro level? Like, what did it do as far as your interest sparking it moving forward?
I think it made me appreciate the athletes even more. I mean, the impact they can have in so many different areas is remarkable, and they really are good people. And I that's why it always pains me when the athletes get raked over the coals sometimes of, oh, they're just chasing this. They're just trying to make a living. I mean, at the end of the day, what I would say is it's a hard college athletics is really hard right now until there's going to be more regulations. And there's so much greatness with college athletics, and TV ratings have never been better. But we just got to get an adult in the room to figure out how to make it regulated. And once that happens, I mean, outside of my family, Pete, I love Iowa State and college athletics. I would love to get back involved someday. It's just the regulations need to come to play because we're really risking so much goodwill. And I just, the NCAA tournament's a special thing. College football is a special thing. I don't want it to turn into a 4-team invitational of who has the biggest bags of cash.
So where can people find you and all your content?
Yeah, so I'm with the team at Cyclone Fanatic. So me and my buddy Chris Williams, we're the old guys now, but CycloneFanatic.com. We have a podcast on Sunday evenings and on Wednesday, and certainly appreciate everybody for tuning in. We cover the Big 12 as well as Iowa State, and as somebody who has seen the Big 12 really evolve over time, it is so cool. And I'm with you like every single night now watching Big 12 basketball. This is the best time of year. So certainly appreciate you having me on, Pete. Appreciate all the work and your hustle. Love listening to your broadcasts, and keep in touch anytime. But yeah, CycloneFanatic.com. Check us out.
I got one more thing for you. First of all, I want to tell people that, that's not just any show. Because, like, if I'm getting ready to, I don't live in Iowa State's world like you do. So if I'm getting ready to call a game, I can parachute into your show, not only listen to what's going on currently with State of Athletics, but I can also go back in the archives and hear, you guys talking to TJ Otzelberger preseason, where he'll go through every goddamn player on the roster and give me, I mean, it's a beautiful thing. So you guys have also like the access. You're not just any, I would recommend the show highly. Last thing about this Big 12 talk, I want to get your truth serum on the Jerome Tang situation. I give me just a little summary of how, when you see this firing, I think we all understand it's a wins and losses thing. I get that. But the for cause stuff is a little jarring for me, at least.
It is. I mean, at some point, the athletic directors have to be held accountable, too. Like, you can blame the coaches, you can blame the players, but who's signing the contracts at the end of the day? And I really think, sometimes the commissioners and the athletic directors, and honestly the presidents at some of these institutions, and I've seen it firsthand, a lot of times it's like, well, no, it's somebody else's fault. Well, if you sign the contract, you sign the contract. Like, there's good and bad there. Now, I am certainly, anybody who listens to the podcast knows we have never been a huge fan of Jerome Tang after what happened in Ames a couple of years ago with the Spygate situation. So certainly, I guess I'll say this: I think they should pay him because they signed the contract. I also think it's probably time for K-State as well. The issue is, and as somebody who's been in the middle of it, finding $19 million is not as easy as it once was. As silly as that is. So I understand why K-State's like, we don't have it, but also we can't keep him because it's gotten so toxic down there. So it's a really unfortunate situation, but I'm with you. Like, if you sign the contract, you sign the contract. All he did was sign it. Like, it's not his fault that it is his fault that they're losing games, but the point is you still have to live up to your contract. And again, Iowa State fans, no love lost for Jerome Tang, although there's probably some disappointment because he was entertaining. And at the end of the day, this is an entertainment product, and he was really good for the Big 12 in that you never knew what was coming out of that guy's mouth next, and it made it super entertaining. But it's one of the other things where Iowa State fans are like, man, K-State might get a coach that's a little more capable down there, but we'll see. What a strange situation, though. And it's why I love college athletics is every day is a little bit different.
Mr. Bloom, man, thank you so much for bringing it this morning, and congratulations on all the success with the podcast, and we look forward to chatting with you again, man. Thanks so much for taking the time.
Anytime, Pete. Keep hustling, man. Appreciate you.
Appreciate you. How about that? Iowa State. It's one of the best fan bases in all of America, no question about it, and it's one of the best products in all of America. When you look at the top of the food chain and you see TJ Otzelberger and the amazing job he's done, you don't want to take a dump on the coach that was there before him, but we're talking about a team, I think it was the COVID year that was 2-22. And the next year they go to the Sweet 16. And, he built that team with, like, we talk about the resources all the time. They had the two guys from St. Bonnie's, a couple guys from Ranger that transferred over there. They were just immediately competitive in his first 2 years. Otzelberger's a special guy, man. And that's a special place. And I would love to see Iowa State go the distance. We're going to step aside before we go the distance. Coming up with a short segment after this. Thanks to Slovacics. Thanks so much to Brent Bloom. Check out the Cyclone Fanatic podcast. It's great stuff. And the Pete Sousa Show rolls on after this.
Bubble allows you to make it real and for it to actually work. So I feel like Bubble does bridges that gap and being able to give people the opportunity to make their ideas come to life really quickly too. I love that I can sit down and build something the way that I think it should be built and have the control over it.
Bubble turns ideas into fully scalable apps. Try Bubble today.
Save big during the Start Something New sales event at Allen Samuels Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Waco. Drive a new Ram 1500 Lone Star Crew Cab with $13,000 off or choose 0% financing. Get a new Laramie Crew Cab 4-wheel drive with 3.9% financing for 72 months plus $15,000 off MSRP. Explore in a new Jeep Grand Cherokee Laredo starting at $31,990. Happening now at Allen Samuels.
Come by. Let's be friends.
Hi, I'm Jo from Face Theory. You're going to want to have a specific goal for your skincare routine. What do you want to achieve? Active ingredients are really strong, and if you're using too many at once, your skin can get overwhelmed. Don't overspend on products. Choose products that have scientific research behind them. At Face Theory, if you're not happy with a product, just say so, just give us a shout and we'll give you your money back, no problem.
I know you're gonna love this Kodak Dot Plus printer. You guys just connect it to your smartphone and then you're gonna use the Kodak Photo Print app. It's going to print you a 4x6 photo. I am just in awe. I love how these turned out. Also, the printer comes with a free cartridge of 10 photo sheets. I can assure you, you are going to love this printer as much as my family has. You guys have to check it out for yourself.
Streamline event and appointment booking with Amelia's sleek, modern, and fully customizable booking forms. Tailor the colors, fonts, and design to match your brand and seamlessly integrate with your WordPress website. Whether it's for events or appointments, Amelia makes booking simple, stylish, and perfectly aligned with your business. Enhance your booking experience today at WPAmelia.com. That's WPAMELIA.com. Amelia.
When you learn a language with Babbel, you start a journey that takes you further and further. Anytime and anywhere you wish. It's easy and fun. Broadens your horizons and keeps your brain fit. A journey into new thoughts, new cultures, new adventures. So what are you waiting for? Start your journey with Babbel now. Go to babbel.com or download the app.
BadCreditLoans.com is a pioneering service provider that has carved a reputation in the financial industry for its dedication to helping individuals with bad credit secure loans. By making timely repayments, borrowers can gradually repair their credit history, thereby increasing their chances of securing better loan terms in the future. BadCreditLoans.com serves as a beacon of hope for those with bad credit. Simple, fast, and reliable loan application process. And its commitment to responsible borrowing makes it a trusted partner in the journey towards financial stability.
Hey, the Pete Sousa Show. By the way, Cam, come join me for this last 5-6 minutes because we're going to wrap up here in a little bit. By the way, did you know that we had an Allen Samuels partnership? I can't hear you.
Yes.
You did?
Now you're going to hear me twice. Yeah.
How come I didn't know?
I only saw it yesterday, Pete, to be honest with you.
No, but I mean, that's good.
I think it's a network thing.
Okay. I mean, that's okay. I mean, nobody could be nice to know.
Yeah, we did not get a formal email like we did with some of our other new partnerships.
So what the hell do I do with Sikora Family Ford now? I mean, I'm just going to put it out there, dude.
Because do it. Yeah, I just saw that it was on the network.
That's good. Hey, we are happy. Look, when you become a major conglomerate like this, 365 Sports, the Pete Sousa Show, the whole kit and caboodle, Matt Mosley, Smokey's Bandits, I think you have to address the fact that there's going to be several cooks in the kitchen. So we appreciate it. Stephanie, kicking ass, by the way. She really is. So that's our girl. All right. Well, welcome, Allen Samuels. Pumped to have you. I really am pumped, but nobody tells me this stuff. I just get heat about why I need to go beat the bushes for more sponsors, but nobody tells me when we get new sponsors, right? They just want me out there knocking on this local 7-Eleven with hat in hand, hey, could I get some more porridge? I mean, come on, dude.
Have you tried that? Is that our next move?
The porridge thing?
Knocking on the door, 7-Eleven?
Dude, I mean, look, trust me. I've done it all. I go on foot patrol.
Yeah.
That's why I ask, because we'll talk about this offline. I don't know how much I can mention about sponsors without getting in trouble. All right. So let's talk about the tweet you just sent me. Actually, there's one thing I want to play first.
You want to do it? Okay.
Oh, yeah, I do want to do it, but let me play this first because this is hilarious. This was just on First Take, and I'm just going to play it like this. This is Stephen A. Smith was talking about guys on the Lakers not taking open shots and wussing out. And he brought up, hey, they're not like Ben Simmons. And here was the conversation. This is another contributor on the show who honestly, I don't know who this guy is. Ready? But he asked Stephen A. this question.
Simmons catching a lot of strays. I don't think the Lakers are catching strays. I'm just pointing out that they got trouble shooting perimeter shots. On this show, as long as First Take is in existence, Ben Simmons will catch strays. We have never, ever seen. Let me tell you something right now. I ain't apologizing for it to a damn soul. There is no bigger thief in the history of the NBA than that man. You know what I'm saying? You talk about a dude that would not shoot the damn basketball. That is the biggest thief. And if Ben Simmons runs near a basketball arena, he should be arrested. That's how bad it was. Okay. Now you can say anything you want to. You can say anything you want to. Now, if the man walked away from the game, that would be different. But that man made sure his check cleared twice a month in the NBA. He went to the bank. You so traumatized that you can't shoot, but You wasn't traumatized to go to TD or Wells Fargo or someplace like that to make sure your money was in that bank account. You refused to shoot the basketball.
Hey, look, as a Sixers fan, I got to tell you, I mean, that was probably the end of my hardcore Sixers fandom. That series with the Hawks when he didn't shoot the ball, and then things just got really messy afterwards with like social issues, and I was just like, you know what, this is a lot. Go ahead.
Is he the biggest thief on those Sixers teams, though?
Well, you think Embiid is bigger?
Like I'm
or
sitting
Paul
there
George?
thinking, I'm sitting there thinking, Ben Simmons has a pretty good case for like the worst max contract from what you got out of that. I don't think if you go back to the time he got the contract, I don't think it's crazy, right? But
no, he was a rookie of the year, first team All-NBA.
During the contract, it's one of the worst ever. But then I'm thinking the other ones, and I think, well, Joel Embiid is still robbing them. Like, he's still getting, like, there's still all these questions every year about how injured he actually is, who's calling the shots on Joel Embiid sitting out or not. The dude doesn't play. So, yeah, Ben Simmons is right near the top, but he might not be the best on his own team, which goes back to a classic Pete Sousa point about the Sixers. And I apologize because you were probably about to get into
please. No.
Of like, and we talked about this with Joel Embiid last year because you were like, these guys come in and their whole logic around their first couple of seasons of basketball are losing.
Yes.
Like you come into a culture that is about losing.
Yeah.
And they obviously had the talent to get better. They were a playoff team and everything. But now your alphas are guys who are taught to lose when they come into the league and to value, themselves over the team in a lot of ways.
Steve Young said this, by the way, and I need to do a whole segment on this, the rise of the 49ers. The documentary is fantastic. And Steve Young
Our
says...
pal David's in it.
Well, who is? David who?
David from the Super Bowl, Radio Row.
Oh, he is?
Yeah, he appears in it like once or twice. He showed me the pictures. He went to the premiere.
Oh, I got to see it. I didn't notice him. Okay.
He's
by the way,
like 40 years ago, Pete. I don't know if you would.
By the way, how about we're going to the Final Four, apparently? Okay.
Put that out there right now. All right.
More on that. More on that coming up, but at a later date. But Steve Young said, there's toxic. No, what did he say? There's competitive tension, and then there's toxic tension. And the Sixers just had toxic tension. They there was no competition. It just went right to toxic, and that sucked. All right, so let's talk about what we want to talk about in this last segment. Just about 4 or 5 minutes. You sent me this tweet, and I think it's complete horse crap. But the tweet was, in the aftermath of Taylor Heisey and Nate Heisey having one of the best days in, college and hockey history that a sister and brother tandem has had. I'm sure we can just check that off.
Probably. It's safe.
Yeah. Seeing as she scored a goal and he hit the game winner in a huge game. Obviously, her game was huge. People are saying the women could beat the men. Olympic ice hockey. I'm just going to let you handle this.
I just I see these and it just pisses me off, Pete. And I used to see it all the time with when Calipari would have 5 one and dones, and they'd be like, can they beat the Charlotte Bobcats? Can Alabama, Nick Saban's Alabama, beat the Cleveland Browns? No, they can't. They cannot. Okay. One is a team of actual professionals here. I know they suck, but yes, they cannot beat the Cleveland Browns. And now I see stuff like this all the time. And what sucks is it comes from kind of the rise of women's sports, right? And you've seen it big time the last 3, 4, 5 years. We have built up women's sports so much that now fans are like, well, they can beat the men. And this tweet said the USA women's hockey team could beat the men's team.
No,
and they cannot. They can't. And that's where we're now moving the goalpost, so to speak. Not in kind of the traditional way, but we are moving the goalposts, and now you're a misogynist or whatever because you don't think that the women's team could beat the men. By the way, this is not like comparing the soccer teams, okay? The men's team might also win the gold medal. They're really, really freaking good. This women's team is unreal. They're kicking the crap out of everybody. They're the best team in the world right now. But now it's it's not enough. And this is going all across sports, whether it's college and pros, men's or women's, whatever sport it is. We now need it to be it's better than this.
Yeah.
Right? Steph Curry leads a dynasty. and he's the best of all time. It's like, no, he's not. This is just really great right now.
I would behoove anybody to go and, can you say that? I would say it would behoove our audience. It would behoove,
yeah.
It would behoove the audience, as far as this topic is concerned. Go listen to Jeff Pearlman's Press Box Chronicles when he talks about Ann Myers Drysdale playing for the Pacers. And it's very fair because Jeff is going to be fair. He skews way left. Loves women's sports. And so, like, it's a pretty good assessment of, like, hey, like, there was no chance she was going to be able to. But it's a really cool story behind it. And she knew it, too. One name I'll give you, and I think this is black and white, right? And I've been thinking about this for a while, and I don't just want to pop off and saying it, but this is an opportunity. Audie Crooks is amazing, right? If Audie Crooks were to have played in that game last night that I watched, Iowa State and Houston, I mean, for real? And she's like one of the best women's players in the world. So that's all I'll say. That's all.
And
I'll
like
say.
that should be okay to say.
Yeah, I think it is okay, dude. It is okay.
And again, I think, and like maybe this is me big braining it too much, but like that to me, and seeing these kinds of things, like to some people that hurts women's sports.
Yes.
Right. Like because now we're thinking like, oh, now they think they could beat the men, or like they're kind of putting this in this place that it's not. Right now, we should be appreciating where it is. Right? Like we're going to be tuned in. It's Thursday afternoon. Like the country is going to be tuned in to women's hockey in the gold medal game. And we see it in the Final Four in women's basketball. The WNBA is bigger than it's ever been.
Yeah.
And now it's like we need to take it to this. What did Chris Berman call it when Cal Ripken broke the record, the consecutive games record, the unreachable star?
Yeah.
Like the U.S. women's team beating the U.S. men's team is the unreachable star. It's not true, and it doesn't have to be. Like Serena Williams is the best women's tennis player of all time. She can't beat Roger Federer. Like, I'm sorry, man. Like, I don't want to offend, but like, come on.
You know, I would like to see that Serena Federer match.
She could beat me. She beat the hell out of me.
Well, can't.
Which is a response I get all the time. Well, like, oh, they could beat you one-on-one. I'm like, yes.
Yeah, no kidding.
Audie Crooks could crush me one-on-one. I am not an Olympian. I'm not a professional athlete, you know?
All right, Kim, are you doing Wicked Boston today?
We will have a segment going up today. Monday, Wednesday, Friday are the lives. We have the segment for Kyle Pitts going up today. We've got some Gronk comparisons in there.
Oh, cool.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Not as good a blocker as Gronk.
Okay, cool. All right, we're out of here. We're presented by Slovakics. We'll see you tomorrow. The Pete Sousa Show rolls on. Cam, do me a favor. That was a great segment with Brent Bloom. Can you clip that and put it up, and we can share it and get it out there?
You betcha, baby.
All right, buddy. All right, there you go. So if you missed Brent Blum, look for it on our YouTube page, the Pete Sousa Show YouTube page. Check out Rick Barry. That was a great conversation yesterday, and we also gave thoughts on Jerome Tang. We will be back with you tomorrow from Stillwater, Oklahoma.
It's the Pete Sousa Show. Sports.
We definitely love our relationship and love Extraco. It's been an amazing experience.
They made the PPP process easier. They were reaching out to me saying, what can I do to help you? That made a huge difference because my stress level, when we shut down, to afterwards was night and day.
Our experience with Extraco has been phenomenal since the very beginning, so we love Extraco.
Nobody tells our stories better than our clients.
The difference is stark. I was rear-ended at 70 miles an hour. I was injured, had a concussion. The insurance company, they delayed. They were playing games from the initial conversation. They weren't going to help me. The biggest thing I learned through this is that you can't go through this alone. I called Daniel Stark. They were going to help me, and everything was going to be all right. Daniel Stark got me 10 times the insurance company offered.
The difference is Stark.
Nalgene Outdoor has been your trusted companion, fueling adventures and helping protect the planet. We're committed to reducing waste, improving access to clean water, and providing simple, safe, and sustainable products for you and your family. NALGENE.com.
Our professionals are not only experts in managing urgent concerns, but also in providing top-notch preventative health care.
We're proud to connect pet owners to a vast network of licensed veterinary professionals ready to address any immediate concerns. Book your first appointment today.
Sports.
This has been a Rogue Media Network production.